Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy Michael Kotze. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Kotze, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida too. Mike Kotze, 561-441-2730. A ride.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. So Netflix is basically Santa this year. 2 NFL games on Christmas Day, streaming live. At 1 p.m. Eastern, it's Cowboys, Commanders. Then at 4:30, you've got Lions, Vikings. Midwest football, playoff stakes, and probably some snow. Watching holiday football is a tradition the whole family can enjoy. Open some gifts, grab some food, settle in, and watch NFL Live on Netflix this Christmas Day.
The Roger Stone Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
On November 30th, Honduras held a presidential election. 2 days before that, President Donald Trump issued a full and unconditional pardon to former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez. That's because the president examined the case against Hernandez, as I did, and saw that he was lynched using the same kind of tactics that Jack Smith and Robert Mueller tried to use on Donald Trump, and set up on fabricated charges of drug trafficking, when in fact he was the president of Honduras who signed an extradition treaty for drug traffickers. And the very drug traffickers that he agreed to extradite to the United States ended up as the principal witnesses against him. All of them convicted drug traffickers, all of whom got a get-out-of-jail-free card. This was a politically motivated lynching with a political motivation to stop the Nationalist Party and to extend the narco-Marxist regime of Xiomara Castro, who admits that she admires Fidel Castro. And they have now, it appears to me, lost this election. But first, I want to say this is the first time that President Hernandez and I have ever spoken. We've never communicated directly. I became aware of his case and the dynamics of Honduran politics. I wrote about them extensively. I reached the conclusion that he had been framed in a flimsy case against him for political reasons. I advocated publicly and privately for his pardon, and I thank God that he has listened and President Trump has done the right thing. A man unjustly sentenced to a 45-year sentence for crimes he did not commit. President Hernandez, welcome to the Roger Stone Show.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Roger Stone. Thank you for having me. If you allow me to thank publicly to the Lord God that helped me to overcome this terrible situation. But also I want to thank President Trump, who take the courage to correct this great injustice. And it was, as you know, he granted me a full and unconditional pardon. Of course, my family, my friends, so many people in Honduras and in other countries praying for almost 4 years, asking for this. But especially now that I am talking to you for the first time, I want to thank you, because you took the time to investigate, you learned about my case, and you did a very important job that anybody who could speak about something like my case should have done in order to know what really happened. So I really appreciate the way you handled this, because you did a research, you investigate all your team, and you know the situation in detail. And whoever knows my case in detail, they really know that I was wrongfully convicted and that I was the one who at that time in Honduras made the decision to confront the narco traffickers, because nobody wanted to did it because they felt that they had been killing so many people who have tried, and also they remember what happened in Colombia, the narco-terrorism at that time when they're trying to extradite Pablo Escobar and the other narcos. And at one point I told somebody in Congress when I was a Speaker of Congress in Honduras, knowing that 8 out of 10 cases of violence in Honduras are related to drug trafficking, if we don't do something, it's like there is no point of being here in Congress. At that time, Mr. Stone, Honduras was the country with the highest murder rate in the planet. And I am the one of those people, if I know something, I cannot look the other way, because if I look the other way, it's because I made the decision of not doing anything. So I confronted this. And almost a century, we didn't have any extradition at all between the United States and Honduras. I lead the process to amend our constitution to create other very important legal instruments and policies to fight these criminals. And at the end, the Biden administration, the deep state, framed me. And they weaponized the justice system to put me in jail, and in order to let the bad guys free. But also, they did it because they wanted the political allies, the very radical left in Honduras, to become empowered. Now that a lot of information is coming out, there are videos, there are recordings, documents linking the radical left party, who already lost the election in Honduras last Sunday. They were really linked. They had that evidence since 2013, and the DOJ didn't use it. And my question is why? And possibly the answer is because they were protecting them, because they want the radical left to become empowered. And in order to do that, they have to destroy my image, attack my party and the institution in Honduras in order to the radical left to become empowered. But now, the public in Honduras, the citizens, they overwhelmingly rejected that failed ideology of the radical left, and they are losing very bad. But anyway, thank you for having me.
It is really amazing that at your trial, a U.S. government representative gave false testimony claiming that cocaine trafficking to the United States had increased drastically under your administration, when in fact that was entirely false, that you signed numerous cooperative agreements with the United States, including, as you point out, for the first time ever, an extradition treaty to crack down on. President Trump publicly praised you for doing that. The case against you is largely based on conjecture, but more importantly, the testimony of two murderous cartel leaders who had an axe to grind against you because your administration prosecuted them and extradited them. Both of them were extradited to the United States in 2004 under the agreement that you signed. Both of these men are hardened criminals, murderers. They played the DEA, I think, masterfully, but it takes two to tango, and the Biden Justice Department was in the same mode they were in their case against me. And the differences here are really extraordinary. James Comey and I are charged with the exact same crime, yet he has no 6 a.m. raid. The judge puts no gag on him. He is allowed to argue, as I wasn't, that he was politically targeted, that this was selective prosecution. You, sir, were absolutely framed. The hard left, the narrative is driving them crazy. Trump pardons a drug trafficker, the Esquire magazine. None of these people have examined the case against you. They need to read the case file, and they will see that you were a target. I want to talk about the most recent election. You made a very good point, which is that Libra has run last, posting, I think, a 19% finish. Embarrassing for the party in power. and former Vice President Salvador Nasralla, who I believe was planted in this race to try to siphon votes from Tito Asfura. Certainly appears that way to me. He now joins the Marxists and try to void what I think was a legitimate election that was won by Tito Asfura. What say you, sir?
Well, the information that I have is that all the documents of each polling session that my party already have and the other parties all indicate that Tito Asfura is the one who win the election. Right now, they are starting the process of verifying a few documents of some polling stations that they have to review, but all indicate that the winner clearly is Tito Asfura. But what the people in Honduras have realized from, let's say, 3-4 days ago until now, is that Nasralla and Mel Zelaya from the Liberal Party, they are talking again and trying to get together in order to overturn the election. But everybody have seen the election. We have a lot of observers from international observers, Honduran observers, and the Honduran people are fed up. And even the army, I believe that they already said the process is doing well. We have to finish it, and we have to respect what is the result. And at this point, civil society organization, private sectors, churches, everybody is saying, let's finish this, and we cannot allow any wrongdoing because the process has to finish as it is. So I feel really confident that the result is going to be positive for the National Party at the three levels: presidential level, the mayoral elections too, and Congress. But of course, the left, the radical left, they have a playbook.
Yes, they certainly.
They even said before every election that if they don't win, it's because it
was rigged.
There is a fraud.
Yeah,
so
it was rigged.
You know what it is.
This is their playbook. We're talking to former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez, a man who's just told you that he was sustained by his faith in God, and he fervently prayed that he would be delivered from these horrific prisons where he was framed. And anyone who will look at his case will see that. What's really amazing is that when I tried to obtain through Freedom of Information Acts the publicly available documents regarding the plea deal done with the two drug traffickers who testified against him, those documents the government won't hand over. This was a fraudulent conviction of an honest man. I was very honored to have the former First Lady of Honduras, Ana Garcia de Hernandez, and their daughters, Ana Daniela Hernandez and Isabella Hernandez, on with me. But we again only communicated after this great act of mercy and justice by Donald Trump. So it is. We are in a historic time. Honduras is a prize to the narco traffickers. It would join Venezuela and Cuba as orbits for them. And of course, they have the willing, complicit assistance of the Chinese. So I'm glad to see that Marco Rubio's standing up to this threat. It remains to be seen whether the legitimate election in Honduras will be honored or whether there is a Marxist coup d'etat in our backyard, something that Marco Rubio and President Trump would have to deal with as they are dealing with Venezuela, as they must deal with Cuba. In the meantime, it's my great honor to have with us former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez, a man who was unjustly sent to hell, but through prayer and reason is able to join us today. And anyone who wants to examine the case for pardoning him, I have written extensively about it. The evidence was manipulated here in a Jack Smith, Jack Mueller judicial, I should say prosecutorial overreach and politically motivated frame job that is very flimsy indeed. So I have no qualms about being an advocate for this pardon, and I'm honored that you would join us today. You're listening to The Roger Stone Show on the Red Apple Audio Networks, and we'll be right back with the former president of Honduras on the other side. And we're back with former President of Honduras, Juan Orlando Hernandez. During the Biden-Harris administration's campaign of retribution against President Trump and his allies, they zeroed in on Hernandez and curried favor with the far-left Libre Party. The Libre Party was led by Xiomara Castro, part of the infamous Zelaya family with deep ties to both Cuba and Venezuelan communists, including Maduro. But those ties did not faze the Biden Justice Department, and President Hernandez was framed in a vicious assault. They filed their indictment of him on January 27th, one day after Hernandez left office, and as Vice President Kamala Harris traveled to Honduras to celebrate the inauguration of narco-Marxist Xiomara Castro. To put the Biden administration seal of approval on this leftist regime. So I'm going to ask the former president, Mr. President, take off your hat as a statesman, take off your hat as a president, put on your hat as a politician, and tell me and answer this. The elections were held on Sunday, November 30th, on Friday, to the surprise of everybody, including yours truly. President Donald Trump took to Truth Social to announce hours after he'd already endorsed Tito Asfura that he was going to grant you a free and unconditional pardon. And I know that moment of relief, but here's my question. Did the fact that dominated the news in Honduras for the closing days of the election, did this benefit the nationalists at the end, who won a very narrow but significant victory?
It is. Indeed, that's what it is. The thing is this, in Central America, and there has been a lot of influence from the Venezuelan regime, and but people was thought that maybe something were true or were not true. For example, all the ordeal that the Venezuelan people have been living for more than a decade under the regime of Maduro. But when President Trump said it clearly that these guys were, put it in simple words, the bad guys, a failed ideology, the radical left, so people started to pay attention. But also when he said that the former vice president could be also related with them, it was another hit, a very important one. And of course, when he talked about Asfura, that President Trump said, we are going to work with Asfura very closely, and I am pardoning President Juan Orlando. My party received like an energizing push.
Of course, it is validation that you were framed. It's exoneration. The president looked at your case and he made a judgment that you had been politically lynched. Your name had been destroyed. You had been sent to prison for 45 years, separated from your beautiful family. It is true, as my colleague Matt Gaetz pointed out, that the evidence against your brother is stronger than the evidence they presented against you, which was frankly very flimsy. But there was no evidence that you participated in any illegal activity with your brother or anyone else, and you had asked the authorities in Honduras to investigate your brother during your time as president to be certain that you had no conflicts. But of course, that won't be written in Esquire magazine or any of the other liberal spots. So I want to send my heartfelt thanks for your faith in God, your faith in President Donald Trump, your commitment to stop the Marxist narco-drug traffickers. I know what it is to have your name dragged through the mud when you've done nothing wrong. I know what it is to face a vicious, all-powerful federal judiciary with unlimited resources and leftist activist judges in their pocket. But you have transcended that and you go on to fight for the freedom of the Honduran people, because the fight never ends. I want to thank President Juan Orlando Hernandez. My friend, God bless you and Godspeed.
God bless you, and thank you very much.
There you have it, folks. It's a narrative the left doesn't like, but this man was lynched. If anyone will examine his conviction and those who testified against him, these are the very people he prosecuted. They got out of jail. This is what we call a fugazi. That's it for us today on The Roger Stone Show. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, God bless you and Godspeed.
Thanks for listening to The Roger Stone Show. You can hear The Roger Stone Show Sunday afternoons at 3. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy Michael Kotze. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Kotze, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida too. Mike Kotze, 561-441-2730. All right.